Hello.
Hi, Britt. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for your time. We haven't had the privilege of having you on since The Longest Ride, so it's good to catch up.
Yeah, for sure.
And now we're talking about Mr. Church, which I'm kind of intrigued by this movie because even though it's, Mr. Church is on the title and on the poster and the main character, your character, Charlotte, is pretty much a shining point of this movie as well. We see her journey of 15, 16, 17 years, something like that, as she's growing up. So we see her alongside of Mr. Church. Was that something that maybe drew you to this film, was being able to portray a character over several years and not just in one point of time?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely loved the idea that, you get to see the character of Charlie span a few decades. You get to see her at 11, 17, 20, and 22, and 28, like all of these different ages. And that gives me a lot to do as an actor. It sort of gives me an opportunity to show a lot of different sides and a lot of different facets of the acting craft. So I loved having that opportunity to do that. But mainly when I read the script, I loved the story. I mean, I wanted to be a part of making this story, and I loved that Susan was so inspired by this friendship in her own life that she wanted to make this movie, and that she's been trying to do it for 10 years, I just loved everything about it.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes through. You feel the heart of, because you see a lot of scripts and they're great and they come across on screen, but you can tell those that were sort of birthed from a passion that a writer had to get a story told, and we really do feel this one, like you said. What was your favorite part about in Charlie's life? I mean, because we see you, going to the prom in the 80s, and we see you going off to college, and some of the things that we won't, give spoilers away for. But what part and aspect of her life did you kind of gravitate to? And go, this is a fun part of the movie that I like doing.
I mean, there's so many to choose from, but I would probably say things that I haven't experienced in my own life. Like the greatest thing about Charlie was that she was able to handle her mother's death with such grace and dignity, and that it was difficult to do at the time when she was having to let go, and then when it finally came time to let go of her, she had Mr. Church to fall into, and that she was able to embrace that sort of kindness and friendship and love, frankly. Like I loved that. And then, and then what I also loved about her journey and her character was that she goes away to college to fulfill this dream and to fulfill this passion, and then stumbles upon a new direction in the world. And she doesn't deny it. She doesn't, ignore it. She doesn't turn away from it. She embraces it. She embraces the gift of motherhood. And I would say that's probably my favorite part of the film, is when she takes it upon herself to say, I'm going to raise this baby, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna do the very best I can with what I have, and I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah. Now, Eddie Murphy is in this as Mr. Church, who obviously we love and have known his long career. Usually we see him being funny and cutting up, and here he's kind of taking a very subtle, kind of a serious, quiet tone to him. Talk a little bit about, because you guys work so dynamically together through this film and have to bounce off of each other. Talk a little bit about the process before shooting, when you guys sort of found that balance.
Well, we did some rehearsals together, which was great, just to get to know each other and, get on the same page and understand the material and go over some of the more difficult scenes. But for the most part, it was very similar to what you see in the movie, which is that, Charlie is always trying to get to know Mr. Church and understand more about him, and so that she can appreciate him more and understand what he's been through in his life. And I think that's kind of what I was constantly trying to do in this movie as well. Like, I really was always trying to get to know Eddie and ask him questions about who he was, and just understand him and get on his level. And it worked so nicely because he would always open up and give me a little bit, but he's a very guarded person, Eddie. So it was great that we had that balance, and we could use that sort of real life mystery to our advantage.
We're going to really push this film to our audience of mother-daughters. I think if there's ever this year been a film that mothers and daughters can go to and sit down and watch and cry a little bit over and bond a little bit over, it's this one. What do you hope that they would take from this, and maybe from Charlie, either as a mother or as a younger child, teenager growing up? What do you hope they take from Charlie in this film?
Well, I think, as a young person myself, just as a young woman or whoever it may be, I think it's difficult to foresee, the future and to know what your life has in store. Obviously, none of us can do that. So it's about taking the time and appreciating those around us who mean the most to us, and really, and spending time with those people and putting time into your relationship. So I hope that people can walk away from this film appreciating their loved ones a little bit more and work a little harder to keep that relationship happy and healthy, and I think that's what it inspired me to do in my own life, is to just keep those near and dear close to my heart.
Well said. Well, Britt, we're big fans of yours over here. Again, appreciate your time today, and good luck with the film.
Thank you. I appreciate it.